Yo! Alright, we have a fun one today. High schoolers are exchanging rings and doing dials for prom. I'm so happy I didn't go. Bruh, I don't know why y'all are doing this, exchanging vows and rings. You're gonna break up next year. Like, you're probably gonna hit one time, go to different schools, break up, and then what was this for? I get for the experience, like they're my first love, but it's like you are 18. The average human lives for 75 years or 70. I don't know. They live for a longer time than 18 years. It's never that deep. But let's see what's up. Yeah, my computer starts working again. This is OD. Hold on. This is OD. I'm not sure why. Wait, maybe they're rich. Sure, rich kids gonna do what rich kids do. But a helicopter? The school is 20 minutes away. Where are you landing this helicopter? Are you guys coming out on the ladder? What are we doing? And why do people have, how can you get access to horses so easily? Why, what? Horses, carriage? You were just in calculus. Oh my god. I don't regret nothing in life. Jesus. Why? Why? Beauty and the Beast. You will never wear that dress. Like, that's what I don't understand. You will never wear this dress again. This is one of those dresses where it's like you have it, but when you're 35 and you look back on it, you try to fit into it and be like, oh, it must have got tighter when I dry cleaned it. No, you're 35, you're not 18 anymore. Like, you grew. Like, not that. I'm just talking this in general. You grew, you know? You probably had a kid, and apparently kids change people's bodies and junk. Why are you doing this? What is this?
I saw a tweet the other day that said that prom is 20K and how if this woman would have a kid, it would be up to 100K. So that's a reason why she isn't having kids. And I scrolled by because at the time it had like 32,000 views. This was just supposed to be a one-off.
To be honest, maybe I went to a broker school, but for what I saw, I didn't go. Remember, from what I saw on Instagram, people were just pulling up regular, maybe a limo. I didn't see anybody with a horse-drawn carriage or a helicopter. But damn, Jesus Christ.
It didn't mean anything. I scrolled back and saw that it had eclipsed 32.8 million views, and I did not know that people were going this hardcore about prom and prom season. Whether it's the dresses, whether it's the theatrics, whether it's literally pulling out bands of money and just holding it around. It seems that prom has become something that I cannot recognize, and I don't know why people are going so far out when we're talking about doing prom. Now, towards the end of the school year, for all the juniors and seniors and hell, some of the more advanced freshmen and sophomores, they get invited to a prom. You go to Men's Warehouse, you go to Macy's or whatever, you get you a nice little prom dress, prom suit, and then you go to some sort of dance at some old club or maybe even some cafeteria or, event space in your local area. You have a good time, you end it at 9:30, and then some of y'all sneak off back to a hotel room to have fun. Personally, I went home. I can remember my prom days. This is a picture of me.
I didn't go. And before, if you make it this far in this video, I got asked. But back in the day when I was in grade 9, I remember exactly where I was. I was sitting in geography class. Yeah, geography class. And it was in the morning, right? The announcements came on and said, oh, prom is $100. I was like, pardon me? $100 to hang out with these? I see them every day. If we don't hang out for free, I'm not gonna try to hang out with them for $100 and some mid food, maybe some okay music, maybe one good song I like, maybe some pop smoke come up. I get sturdy a little bit, but I see these people every day. I don't even like dressing up. You see me every day in the sweater, bro. I'm in my pajamas right now. I'm wearing a sweater with a hole in it. I don't like dressing up. But back to this spiffy suit. I just didn't go. I just didn't want to. You know what's crazy? I had enough money too, bro. No, thank you. I'm not going.
Me going to prom, yeah, that's me in this burgundy suit. I really thought I had it on. And I had my little Kohan 3M dress shoes, and the car that I got to drive was my aunt's 2005 Mustang. I graduated in 2014, so having a 2005 Mustang, listen, that was luxury.
Tuvalu, the disappearing island.
At that point in time, the most expensive thing on there probably was my tie, or maybe even the shoes. The shoes might have been $100. The tie might have been like $110. But I thought I was really stepping. I thought I was really doing something big. I thought I was really doing something different. But
I know I'm pausing a lot. I'm pretty sure I put reaction in the title of this video. So if you clicked on it, you know what I'm saying? Like, can't just sit here and watch the video. What would be the point in that? But yeah, that's also the problem. The clothes for my graduation, can't believe I still had to go. Yeah, for my graduation, what the pants? I didn't wear a suit. Pants and dress shirt. Did I even wear a tie? I think so. Or maybe came up to like max 150. This is 2023 before inflation, but right after COVID. Not right after COVID, but like a good amount of time after COVID. Not sure if that's expensive or cheap, but yeah, that like maybe 150. Dang, y'all care too much about high school, bro. Pack it up.
When I see these prom videos across my timeline, I know that I was doing nothing that could compete in 2025.
I promise to make this night special.
I promise to cherish this moment.
Oh my god, that's one thing I hope I never have to do in life. Propose, make a vows, or generally anything romantic to this extent. Bro, I'll be so perturbed if I have to write an essay about a person, even if I love them with all my heart. I don't like writing essays. The most amount of writing I do anyway is for YouTube, and that's something I actually like something I actually think about. If we're together for enough time for you actually convinced me to get on my one knee, pay for a ring for whatever reason, pay for 2 rings, the engagement and the wedding ring, you got me to that point of utter mind control where I actually did that, and now you're making me write an essay. No. I refuse. Who is paying for this? Oh my god.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Rings. They promise, and they did.
Bro, y'all aren't going to make it far in life. This relationship is over. What, summer's 3 months? I give it second semester of your first year. Oh my god, y'all going to cheat on each other. You're going to different schools. Okay, let's say maybe y'all go to the same school. Y'all not going to last long. Maybe, I don't know. But damn, rings? Yikes.
That by exchanging rings. This is for a prom. This is not for a wedding. This is not for... That's the only time you will really exchange rings like that. This isn't for that. And trust me, it still gets crazier, but off the top, rings are totally out of pocket for a children's prom. What is this? What are we doing?
Bro, she looks uncomfortable, I ain't gonna lie. All this editing, that's not simple. He had to... Bro, I just know a little bit about editing. He had to sit here twice, do this over and over again. They probably have more than one take. Oh my god, bro. This type of stuff my mom probably wanted me to do. Ugh. Who is recording this, by the way? Why is he here?
I think that was them alluding to a Rolls Royce and a Ferrari. Now, not only to me are the rings out of pocket, the dress in and of itself is out of pocket. I think that there should be some sort of, level of I don't know, conservatism with the kids' dresses. That's just me. But also the level of detail, the level of money. Look, I think that there's no problem with having special moments. But once you get to the part where you're starting to rent out these uber luxury cars in order to make some sort of grand entrance for your prom, you're spending thousands upon tens of thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in order to do that. I don't think that there's a problem with renting one car, but why do you need to rent two cars?
Again, pausing a lot. My video. I probably put the link to the original video in the description. So yeah, I don't care how much money I get off YouTube or any other thing I do in life. If I ever have a kid, they have the audacity to ask me, "Hey, Dad, can you rent out a limo, a Ferrari limo that flies? Because it's gonna be later in the future that flies. Me and my boyfriend want to go to prom. Me and my girlfriend want to go to prom. Okay, how much? Um, it's $30,000. One more time. One more time. Yes, $30,000. I'm gonna hit him with the. Do you have prom money, man? Kid, if we're at that point in my life where I have a kid going to prom, I'll probably hit him with the "you have McDonald's money" thing. No matter how much money I got, I'll probably hit him with that. If I don't even get you McDonald's whenever you want, I'm not dropping 30K on one night for you to break up with your person in 4 months. No, thank you,
For your prom.
bro. That's your tuition. Who's driving what, by the way? Why do they have so many like helicopter shots?
You see, they only pull up in one car. Like, it's stupid to have two cars, a man on a cello, and what seems to be a choir right behind them. Now, I did do my research on the high school that they came from, which is Western High School, coming out of South Florida area. And I will say specifically for them, the median income for each household over there is over $130,000. So they may have some money to blow. But this seems to be a little bit over the top, even if you had
You paid tuition yet?
I think some people would have money to spend on an extravagant prom, but why is it that people are going down this path of going so over the top when it comes to, prom or these celebrations for high school students?
Real talk.
High school prom getting out of control. Have y'all seen the high school proms? You cannot go to high school prom now without a budget. Last year, this kid's mom asked me to film his high school prom, right? He pulled up in a Rolls Royce, had a red carpet, and had a driver.
Not to be rude, but if the house behind you is any indication of how much money your whole overall household brings in, yeah, that money could have been used for something else, and you're going homeless in 2 weeks. But no offense, unless it's one of those houses that just got built in a poor looking neighborhood, but actually like a middle class neighborhood, then sure. But it's like, Jesus Christ.
Now looking back on it, that was light. That was his junior year.
Oh.
His mom said his senior year, they're trying to get an approval so the helicopter could land at the school. I seen somebody on a bus in a box. I seen a girl dressed with all the $100 bills. Man,
I'm stealing.
Some girl said her dad flew to Nigeria to get.
Oh, if that lady is who I think it is,
some girls.
If this lady is who I think it is, then they have some money to spend. I think she's like a famous comedian, actor person.
Her dad flew to Nigeria to get the dress made because hers ain't coming time.
Why?
This is what I wore to my prom.
Facts.
I thought it was clean.
Now, if we go down the rabbit hole, I think there's a lot of places and spaces that
No cap, bro. This is the low-key type of foolishness my mom would have tried. I ain't the richest person in the world. I'm cool. Cool middle class. You feel me? But my mom, because of who I am as a person, I don't ask for a lot. I don't like dressing up nice. I don't like going nice places. I just don't care. I'd rather just sit at home and chill. This is the type of stuff she probably want me to do. And I don't like taking pictures that much. I know it's weird. I'm recording myself. I don't like taking pictures. Like, you feel like, not in the sense of I'm chopped nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like, pretty small chocolate. But I was like posing. It's weird. Like, she wanted, like, at my graduation, like, I wanted to go. I wanted to leave as soon as that last person got up. But she's over here wanting to take pictures. Bro, that's the thing. I don't care about memories. I want to leave. I don't want to, bro. If it takes the end of the year for me to make memories, I'm happy high school is over. Lord.
don't make sense for these people to be doing these extravagant ass things for these proms. In the original tweet, the woman said somebody's prom was $20K. Where is all this going to? This is one night. That's like wedding reception level stuff. And all these things are egregiously taxed. I don't know if you've ever seen these things on TikTok, but people put extra taxes on things when it comes to doing like weddings or certain celebrations. But your prom being that, I don't know how. If we think about a hotel, if we're thinking about a ticket itself, if we're thinking about a suit or whatever the case may be, none of these things should tally up to be $20,000. $20,000 is somebody's like part-time salary. $20,000 is a year in college for some people. $20,000 is a lot of money, and I don't even think that people have this on their brain, right? And I know that people can't really afford these things. If you look at the median income of a lot of households across the U.S., I don't see where they're penciling in $20,000 or whatever outrageous amount of money that they're spending on these specific proms. And it's sad because I don't like to add these sorts of talking points to my videos, but this is definitely a black thing. I'm not seeing a lot of people, you know, other than black people participating in proms this extravagant. Now, if we go down to level 2, it's the adultification and role play that people love to have with their kids. We've seen pictures and video before of people taking little toddlers and putting them in adult clothes, you know, calling it BBL fashion or whatever the case may be. So not only are they adultifying their kids, dressing them up in these different
That's not appropriate.
I've seen people do preschool proms, daycare proms, like
I ain't gonna lie, this is one of those things where it's like you're living vicariously through your children, you know? And I'm not saying it's a problem. If I have a kid, I'm gonna put that boy in sport. Boy, girl, I don't care. They're going to sports. You know, like I was good at sports, but I always thought that if I started earlier or had proper training, I could like make it far in life. Like, I'm not gonna talk too much about me, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna put my kid in sports. But I don't think I'll get to that point where it's like you have to get to the NBA. We're waking up. You're 5. You're waking up at 5 o'clock every morning, shooting hoops ever since you were 5 before school. Nah, I'm not gonna get to that point. I don't care if you just win a ribbon at your school's track day, or like you at least like you win your toddler league basketball, like, you know, like just simple accomplishments like that. Like that's as far I will go with trying to live vicariously through my child, unless my kid ends up being 6'2". I'm 5'9". Whoever I end up with is probably gonna be shorter than me. But my kid ends up being 6'2" by I'm wild, and this is just hypothetical. If my kid is 6'2" by grade 8, oh yeah, we going to the league. Oh yeah, for sure. But other than that, like the whole like going to prom, like I'm pretty sure some of these parents didn't go to prom or get the prom they wanted. I really didn't want to go to prom. Like there was no other reason besides I just didn't want to. So like even if I have a kid, if my kid says they don't want to go to prom, they don't want to go to graduation, they don't want to go to these random school events, I'm not gonna push my kid to. I'm like, at least I know you're my kid. Like we sitting, we gonna chill, we gonna eat some pizza. Like, what you want? McDonald's? Bet. That's as far as I would go. That's just me though.
toddlers or people that just aren't in high school doing proms, really young people. So it makes sense that by the time that you get to actual prom age, we will have aged it up so much that it's a fucking wedding at this point.
Please, you guys are taking this prom stuff too serious. Don't get me
Bro,
wrong, prom
bro.
season is one of my favorite seasons after
Hated it.
graduation. But baby,
Hated
telling
it.
each other vows on prom night and promising stuff, like, you have to be serious. Like, this is not y'all wedding, literally. Like,
Real
y'all are
talk.
promising this and that and making it seem like it's a wedding.
You know what's crazy? Some of these people they weren't even together when they asked each other to prom. They were just maybe talking a little bit. Like, prom is probably their first date. Think about that for a second. That's reality for some people.
Like, this is not a wedding. Vows and exchanging rings on prom is just crazy. Like, mind you, these kids are probably 17, 18 years old. Like, the drones even, and I think that this was all in a hotel room. Like, where are the parents at? Because this is all the parents' fault for allowing this, if you ask me.
Now, I want to be able to introduce two perspectives. I grew up with an older mother, so she's definitely of the same perspective of this young lady, and part of me definitely agrees with this situation too, that, yeah, this is probably going to be the moment that they have for the rest of their lives. There's never going to be another opportunity in which people are able to put on tuxedos or gowns.
Bro, you keep a group of 5 solid friends. Each one of them gets married at one point or another. You can wear, you'll be able to wear a nice dress, a nice suit, whatever. But I never again, we're talking from my perspective. Put in the comments why people care, but I've never cared to dress nice. Not on some, like, I'm too cool. Bro, I like wearing loose clothes. I like being able to do this with my clothes, with my pants. I don't need. I like to be able to itch my leg. I like to be able to have my nuts swing side to side at will. I don't need to, like, be constricted. That's my only problem. Like, I don't know. I will never understand why people like dressing like in designer in like nice like street clothes. Sure, but suits and tuxedos, never been my vibe.
Or, you know, go to some sort of formal event. And if you really think about it, that's probably most Americans. This is why it's very important for you to live your life and not adultify yourself too fast, because you won't be able to experience these things again for the rest of your life. Think about the last time you've been on a field trip, or had a summer break, or read a book even. A lot of Americans post high school do not experience that ever again. So it's kind of important. And that can be both good and both sad. Now, should that mean that you go out of your way to cosplay weddings? No, I think that that's like a very sacred moment, and I don't think that it is the appropriate thing to do. That's weird, that's wild, all that stuff. But we've seen in recent times where people are not living, it seems like, on a massive scale past a certain age. So the adults having the opportunity to have them live these moments, you know, going to prom or having this big celebration or bash or whatever, it seems very important. That's why these people have huge celebrations for graduation, not because they think they won't ever graduate again, which a lot of people won't, but also because they never thought they would make it, or they might have people in their lives that did not make it to that point in and of itself. So a high school graduation can be just as big as a college graduation. Do I think that should come at the expense of a down payment on a house? Absolutely not. But
in that sense, I can see that. Like maybe you grew up in like a rough area, like parents or child, or like when you were younger, you grew up in a not so good area. Maybe some of your friends, like RIP or RIP, like dead and whatnot, and then like you're doing this for them because they didn't get to see it this far. But to his point, like spending all this money that you probably shouldn't on a single day in high school, for high school, nasty work. Weird.
there was something interesting that I saw from Twitter creator Phil Lewis that talked about
Adults are trying to figure out what to do with large teen gatherings, but the teens point to the lack of neighborhood spaces to gather. There are no for us just to be free. Interesting. That low-key could be the case because, like, at least in my neighborhood, right? I mean, where I'm from Pickering, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from Pickering. There's not a lot to do here unless you're going to someone's house for a party. McDonald's with some friends, maybe go to the mall. Not sure why you guys would just hang out in Walmart. And then like there's some basketball nets here and there. If you don't have a car, you can't go to Ajax or Scarborough where like fun stuff is. But even the fun stuff is more like Chuck E. Cheese, Palladium, Sky Zone. Like you can go there even as like uh, a teenager and an adult, but it's not like on some. But it's more directed to kids. That's what I'm like. Yeah, that's what I'm. That's what I think.
There are no places for teenagers to just be teenagers. I think that there's a lot of real issues that play, into that are going on here. Listen, there aren't any malls. They're closing down parks left, right, and sideways. There's no television shows. Kids are now being aged up every single day. There's no more Radio Disney that I grew up on. There's no more Claire's. There's no more kid-like spaces. It seems like you're a toddler and then you jump into a Delta 5.
I'm Canadian, so I'm not sure what's like in America, but I didn't. Again, I'm not the most observant person when it comes to other people, but I see that a little bit with like kids. I'm 20, like kids my age wanting to like drink and smoke at early ages, but that I guess so a little bit. Hmm.
Hell, even when my cousins were talking about getting designer shoes, it started off being in 8th grade. And that's not a conversation I started to have until, hell, out of high school, late high school, whatever the case may be. One, when I got my own money, but two, when I started to mature in there. What happened to the era of Skechers or, I don't know, K-Swiss?
I've destroyed so many of those when I was a kid.
Clothes? Where are the places and spaces for young teens, preteens, teenagers? Where are all those things? Why are we taking these jumps like this? Last but not least, social media has gotten.
And with that point, again, I'm not sure what's like where you're from in your life, but from my life experience, that wasn't really like a big thing, Most people I met in high school were like, how should I say, like had cartoon character outfits. I mean, like yeah, people would change every day, but by the second week of school, like you wore that shirt already, Like I'm pretty sure he's talking about something completely different, but I never saw any. I didn't see anybody like wearing designer. Maybe some nice Jordans or some nice basketball shoes, maybe. But again, I'm not the most observant person in the world, so it could have been that. I only hang out with people I know. I'm not just popping in and out of every friend group. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody up in arms, and when that happens, you gotta get the content out of it. You gotta one up yourself. You gotta top that viral moment with another viral moment. One of the biggest issues that comes with this prom season is that somebody saw somebody last year do it, so now I gotta go bigger and I gotta go harder. But that's social media for you. Every time somebody does something, they feel as if they have to top it one year after the next year. At some point, I feel like we are gonna reach the top, but I'm saying the same thing with like IRL streaming and content creation in general. Every time somebody reaches a new point, I say to myself, this has to be the top until we reach the next top. Overall, this situation can be summed up by a term called arrested development. It's when somebody's development, whether it be emotionally or mentally or whatever, is arrested. It's locked up in a certain stage or state, and that state being a 17-year-old. These are the people who peaked in high school. You know, their parents peaked in high school, so now they're putting it on to their kids to live out these dreams and fantasies, because ultimately, this is potentially the biggest moment they will ever have. This almost seems like if you gave a kid $100,000, what would they do? Give a kid $10 and let them go into the grocery store and see what they buy. They're not gonna buy anything productive like bread or milk. They're gonna buy candy bars. This is just the adult version of that exact same thing. This is the extension of the mom who is living through their child by, you know, putting them on the dance team or the cheer squad.
Real talk. You know, it's crazy. There was actually a story about how a mom almost hired a hitman to take out her daughter's competition for the dance for the dance team, even though the daughter didn't really care, and the mom cared a lot because she didn't get to do it when she was a kid.
The dad who was living through their child because they have hoop dreams that were never satisfied, you know, when they were in high school because they were 5, 6. This is that same exact extension. And of course, the child isn't going to say anything. They're going along with it. They want to have fun, and this seems like the thing to do. But somebody's got to be the parent.
Well, anyway, that is the end of this video. It was a 12-minute video. I made it almost 32 minutes. So let me just cut the app here and see you later.